We will first descend the old Grandview Trail, then view the various points along the south rim to Desert View. We will again descend into the canyon's depths over Bright Angel Trail, then follow the edge of the south rim westward to Havasupai Point. Leaving the rim, we will go down the Mystic Springs Trail. Finally, we will traverse the superb Kaibab Trail, down from Yaqui Point, across the Colorado River, over the steel suspension bridge, and up through Bright Angel Canyon to the north rim. Our trip will end with visits to Point Sublime, Cape Royal, and Point Imperial. Standing here on the extremity of Grandview Point, the idea of anything without wings being able to descend these precipitous cliffs seems preposterous. A trail, however, does actually descend this cliff between the positions of the camera when this view is taken and the sheer precipice in front.
Two-thirds of the way down to the river, we reach the Great Tonto Plateau. We have now descended so low that the opposite canyon rim has disappeared entirely behind the great inner temples and buttes, which tower above us in a clear-cut profile against the sky. To the left is Angel Gate.
Reaching the extremity of the Tonto Terrace on the brink of the Granite Gorge, we find ourselves at the terminus of the trail, for it is impossible for the animals to descend the granite wall at this point. The lower Granite Gorge, 1,500 feet deep, extends through the archaean depths of the underworld for 50 miles.
Later, we shall look upon views near the center of the gorge, at the foot of Bright Angel Trail. Looking in the opposite direction, we see the awful chasm through which the river rushes for this 50 miles, and behold the gloomy corridor through which Major Powell had the courage to pass in the face of unknown perils in 1869.
According to legend, an Indian chief mourned the death of his wife and refused to be comforted until a god told him that she was in a happier land and offered to take him there if, on his return, he would cease to mourn. The chief promised. Then the god made a trail through the intervening mountains. This trail was the Grand Canyon of the Colorado River. Having conducted him through it to the glories beyond, he led him back. Then he turned a mad, raging, rushing river into the gorge that should overwhelm any who might be so rash as to attempt the passage. We have now reached Zuni Point, which affords the finest prospects in the eastern portion of the Grand Canyon. A few miles east of Zuni Point, we come to Lipan Point. Looking up the canyon from Lipan Point, we see the giant elbow formed by the Colorado River as it bends at right angles from its previous southerly direction through Marble Gorge and begins to flow westerly for more than 200 miles through the Grand Canyon. From Navajo Point, or Desert View, we look directly into the lower end of the Marble Gorge. The level top cliff in the center is called Palisades of the Desert, ending in Cape Solitude. Directly over Cape Solitude, in the center of the skyline, we see Shinsmo Altar, a flat-topped mesa and a prominent landmark of the Painted Desert. Returning now to Zuni Point and looking westward, we may follow the general trend of the canyon for fully 70 miles. In the middle distance, about 20 miles away, is the long projecting peninsula of Yaqui Point, beyond which both the Kaibab and Bright Angel trails enable one to reach the river. Some 30 miles west from Zuni Point, we reach the head of Bright Angel Trail. This is at the apex of a deep horseshoe-shaped amphitheater between Yavapai Point on the east and Maricopa on the west, at the extreme left of the view. To the right of Maricopa, and apparently a portion of the opposite north rim, is Shiva Temple. Here is a trail portion just above the Redwall limestone cliffs, which rise above the Tonto Terrace. This, however, is not red, but grayish-blue in color, being stained by washings from the red sandstone above. Its true color may be seen in places where sections of the cliff have been broken off and fallen. After crossing the Tonto Plateau, we descend a precipitous cliff into Pipe Creek Canyon, through which we reach the Colorado River. The sharp-pointed pinnacle in the distance is Zoroaster Temple. On this side of Zoroaster, and just around the bend in the granite wall, is the outlet of Bright Angel Canyon.